Hello beautiful, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this very impromptu and kind of, I don't want to call it slacky, but a little bit more of a casual video. I was actually sitting down in my messy bun in my t-shirt. I was editing a video for tomorrow and one of you sent me this article that it's no longer a rumor. Forma, which is the owner of Morphe and some other brands, but mainly Morphe, they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. It's going down. Whew. I'm gonna apply some lip gloss and a little bit of eye primer, and I'm gonna do an eye look, just a quick eye look, and we are gonna talk about what is going on. Usually when I do videos like this, I try to use like the brand that is in question, but I don't own, I think, a single thing from Morphe, which is, I mean, in of itself a very interesting thing, so we'll get to that as well. So I will be using some other things in today's video, and if you're interested in any of the things that I have on my face right now, it will be down in the description box. I want to start this out by saying that I don't hate Morphe, even though I don't review Morphe on my channel all that often. I don't hate Morphe. And Chapter 11 bankruptcy, it doesn't mean that they're going out of business necessarily, but it means that they're not in a good spot. They have debt that they cannot pay right now, and they're filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy because they're hoping to find a solution to be able to stay open. It's a way to stay in business and try to find a solution of a problem that they're obviously having. They filed for bankruptcy today, on Thursday, in Delaware. I have an article, I will link it down below. Thank you whoever sent this over to me. It means a lot. It's very grateful to be able to get these kind of news quickly so that we can discuss them. I did do a video some time ago where we were talking about the difficulties of Morphe, and I will link that video down below as well. And also, I mean, I think we all have heard about the big news that happened over the holiday where Morphe literally closed all of their stores, and this had been brewing for some bit. I don't think a lot of people were like maybe the employees because they had been like told that like, no, we're doing fine, we're not closing, we're just having a sale of everything and then not restocking and then closing the doors and please find another job. I don't think people were super surprised about them closing, but it was a really weird way they did it. They literally closed, I think, on the 26th, and they didn't really tell staff that long in advance. Like some people, they literally told when they came in the morning, by the way, this will be your last day at work, pack up your things and please pack up the store as well. So that's not really ideal, and I think that like closing all the stores is probably one of the ways that they're hoping to avoid actual bankruptcy. But this is what the article says. Forma Brands LLC, the parent company of makeup retailer Morphe LLC, which is, I think that Morphe is, I think 80% of the brand, like the income of Forma is from Morphe, filed for bankruptcy in Delaware on Thursday, today, with plans to be taken over by lenders including Jeffrey Finance LLC and Cerberus Capital Management. And this is what I said about Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The Chapter 11 filings allows Forma to keep operating while it seeks court approval of a restructuring plan, though the company already said that they're closing all the stores, and they already have closed all their stores. I think myself, with opening this many stores, because Morphe got bought out. There was like two siblings that had the brand, and they had this amazing bond with creators. Like they were like one big happy family. So not only did the creators like, because I believe them when they say that they like the makeup, because there's a lot of makeup out there that I think is like meh and other people love it. And there's a lot of makeup out there that I love that other people are like meh, that's just the way it is. But I really truly think that they had like this like bond with people that was not just like, oh, I like the makeup and I'm able to make money out of it, but also like they were friends. Like it felt like they all cared about each other. And then Morphe sold, and the new owner, I think, wanted to take another route, didn't want to be like an influencer brand, which is totally fair. The problem with Morphe, with what a lot of people like me realized, that when the influencers were gone, the brand that was left was, I mean, kind of boring, mediocre products with quality that I didn't love, and it seems like other people agree with me, and it just didn't really become as popular as I think that on its own, that I think the new owners were like hoping. I'm just trying to fix this shape. How do we think this is going? a little so-so. It's a trust the process kind of a day. This article also says the bankruptcy caps a tumultuous 2.5 years for the Pacoima. It's a California-based company that failed to see revenues grow in spite of marketing deals with YouTubers and influencers. And I'm fairly sure that this is the group that like bought the brand, but it seems like they were not able to nurture their relationships with influencers the way that the old owners of Morphe did, and I think that Morphe was just trying to go in a different direction, which again is totally fine. But if you're not gonna try and use influencers for marketing, at least try to be nice to them, because I've heard some influencers actually not liking Morphe at all anymore. And also a lot of the products that they have been releasing have not been either fun or innovative, and a lot of people didn't like the quality. So you're gonna have to bring something to the table. But it says that influencers are now among the company's largest unsecured creditors. An unsecured creditor, if I got everything correct when I was doing a little Googling, basically means that it's an unsecured, like they're the first to not get their money. I'm sorry to these influencers, but I don't think that these are the people that are gonna be getting the money. And it seems like Morphe owns Jaclyn Hill $2 million and Jeffree Star $1.4 million. That is a lot of money. That is an intense, that is so much for me. I'm not rich. For me, that is a lot of money, and I'm actually like shocked that they would not, because I feel like Jeffree Star and Jaclyn Hill has probably been two people that have made Morphe the most money. Jeffree Star used to have their makeup there. Jaclyn Hill is known for selling 1 million copies. 1 million copies of that white palette that she released with them. And when even they can't get paid. And I mean, this doesn't say for what that is. I mean, Jeffree Star, like I said, he had his makeup there for a bit, even though, I mean, they severed ties with him for a million different reasons. It could be for unpaid invoices, for stock. With Jaclyn Hill, it could, like, Jaclyn Hill is her brand. Nomad Cosmetics is under the Forma brand umbrella. Does this mean that her brand also is under this Chapter 11 bankruptcy? That I don't know. One would have to look at the fine print to know that. But I will say it's going to be extremely interesting to see, now that it is in this article at Bloomberg, to see the response, because this is probably something that they had not wanted to discuss online. They probably did not want this to be public knowledge, but it's going to be super interesting to know how they are going to react to this now, because from what everyone knows, at least Jaclyn Hill seems to have a good relationship with Morphe, but I mean, I guess she has to. They're owned by the same brand. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see now that this is public knowledge, what is going to come from this information, because I feel like this is super interesting. To not pay the people that kind of made your success, yeah, that really is something else. And I wonder if there are more influencers that are owed money. Not that is the most important thing, but if you're paying someone to help with promotion and they do the job, kind of should be paying them. I'm kind of interested to know if you're working at a Ulta store, is Morphe still as popular as they used to be? Because I feel like for the longest time, every time I went into an Ulta store here, everyone was going bonkers. They're like, oh my god, you need to look at the Morphe things. This is our most hip and interesting brand. And I was like, what? So I mean, again, no shade against Morphe, but it just really isn't my type of brand. They don't really do the products that super interest me. But I would love to hear, do you feel like it's still as poppin' in Ulta as it used to be? Or do you feel like I don't want to say it come and gone, but like every brand has its ups and downs. But I mean, this is a down. There is this other equally interesting articles as well, and they were laying out some numbers about how much money these like influencers were like, what they were bringing in, you know? Give us the deets. And they were saying that internet celebrity like influencers such as Jeffree Star, James Charles, I'm guessing Jaclyn Hill as well, helped revenue to top $400 million in 2019. Can we grasp how much money these influencers are making, this brand? And that apparently, not only with the pandemic, but also because like some influencers got canceled. Some influencers are less popular for other reasons. And some influencers didn't want to push Morphe anymore because they felt like the brand was maybe not taking care of them the way that they had been before. And they were saying that, if I'm not misreading this, the first 10 months of 2021, the expected revenue for influencers, like how much they were selling, was 66%. That is not good when you are expecting sales or like hoping, because I think that like sometimes with like influencer marketing, and I think that some people are like, oh look, it's the end of influencer marketing. I don't think that. But I think it's important to note that influencer marketing implies more than one influencer. But like when you tie your marketing to a few at the top, people can get canceled. People can be less popular. So many things can happen that makes you lose revenue if you are tied to an influencer that is, for one reason or another, not as popular anymore. And I feel like we can all agree that neither Jaclyn Hill, Jeffree Star, or James Charles are where they used to be when it comes to popularity, trustworthiness. For one reason or another, people are not as keen listening blindly to their recommendations, again, for one reason or another. And maybe they weren't as good as they were hoping to be at recruiting the new top players, because if they had been playing their cards right, because they were trying to get into the TikTok scheme. Well, maybe it is a little bit of a scheme, but they were trying to get into the TikTok scene by creating that Morphe 2 line, which served absolutely no purpose. And it was like marketed, not created, but marketed by the Dixie. Is this even correct? The Melio sisters. One of them is maybe Dixie. Listen, I feel old right now. But they were trying to get into the scene like that. And I think that they forgot how Morphe, it's like they forgot their own history. Your brand didn't become this big, like I'm talking Morphe, because you found the people that was already the hugest and you paid them just to be the faces of your brands. You found the hottest up and coming social media stars, and you made sure that they took you with them to the top. Jaclyn Hill was not that big when she did her first Morphe palette. I remember that. And I think they should have been better at catching some of the new up-and-coming social media stars, not only on TikTok, but also on YouTube, because there's a lot of people that could have probably helped with Morphe, but I think that they were hoping or wishing that either the people that they already had on board was gonna do what they always did and sell as much product as they always have done, or that they were gonna be just as popular without influencers, without really taking into account, okay, so how is that gonna be? Because this is how I feel, regardless if it's pushed by influencers or not. Because like, listen, I don't work with brands that I don't love. But when it comes to Morphe, I personally think that maybe they were a little bit too hyped for the quality that they were bringing to the game. And I think that the main reason why they sold so much is because they're affordable. And when the influencers were no longer there to point people in the direction of like, look at this amazing brand, it's such good palettes, people were realizing that this wasn't super innovative. This wasn't super great quality, and at the end of the, it became a little Emperor's New Clothes. Like, this isn't the only affordable makeup brand, even at Ulta. This isn't the only brand that has different stuff, and yeah, I just think it fell flat. Also, a bunch of the products that they launched got really, really bad reviews, and people weren't as hyped. Nobody was like super excited about on social media, and I don't really see stuff selling out in stores either when I'm there. Nobody was like super excited about a new Morphe launch, but go back to 2017. Morphe launched a new palette, it sold out. It sold out, and every influencer were talking about it. Fast forward to today, that's definitely not the case. I never see anyone mention Morphe. Maybe it's because I don't like subscribe to those people. That could definitely be it. Let me see if I can get some inner corner highlight on. I was actually using this palette today. Maybe a little bit of this lime green could do the trick. And again, I'm not saying that Morphe is bad quality, but it's definitely not a favorite. And I think a lot of people realized that when nobody was pushing the brand, it just wasn't as interesting. So what do I think is gonna happen now that like the stores are closed down, and like this is public, like they aired out their dirty laundry now. Like, it is all out there now. People know exactly in how much trouble this brand is, exactly how much money they owe influencers, and this might be the reason why some influencers are not talking much about Morphe anymore, because maybe they owe money to more people. I will say that if a brand refused to pay me and if they owe me $1 million, I'm not going to be promoting your new eyeshadow palette. Like, pay me. So I totally get that. At the end of the day, this is a job, and I think a lot of us out here are just talking about the things we love. But of course, we're going to feel differently about a brand if they owe us $1 million. I definitely do think that. So I think this is going to be it. I just wanted to do a look while I was talking about this, because I thought that it was super, super interesting that this was going on. What do you think about this? Do you think that this is the beginning of the end? I mean, we have seen some brands go under. I mean, Makeup Revolution wasn't, not that they were filing for bankruptcy, but they were definitely in like shaky waters. BH Cosmetics was filing for bankruptcy, but then they got bought by Makeup Revolution, which now in hindsight doesn't seem like the best deal. Makeup Geek disappeared, Becca disappeared. It's just fascinating. There are so many brands that are pulling out of different markets. I just reported on the fact that both Smashbox and Glam Glow were pulling out of the UK market, and Urban Decay has basically pulled out of almost every I wonder what's going on over there. I wonder what's going on over there. I really hope that they're able to pull themselves together. I think that a lot of makeup brands were relying on a strategy to just be an unlimited elevator, to just bring them to heaven. Like, there is no limit, basically just go on for forever. But I think that a lot of brands right now are realizing that not only are the purchasing habits of people changing, because it definitely is, the demographic is changing, and the way that we get influenced is changing, the way that we are shopping is changing, and also the preferences that we have towards different brands. There are so many brands that used to be hyped, they're almost forgotten, and then yeah, Morphe is just a case of, oh, how the mighty has fallen. It's going to be super interesting to see what they're gonna do about this. Do you think they're gonna switch it up, like regarding how they do marketing, regarding what kind of products they release? I'm fascinated to see, because we don't 100% know exactly what is the problem. If there's like a million different things colliding into one big problem, or if there's one determining factor that just dragged the whole ship down. I am guessing the two big factors are influencer marketing not going as it used to, and them probably thinking that maybe they didn't need it, and also them maybe taking off a little bit more than they can chew when it came to opening so many big stores in so many big malls that maybe wasn't bringing in the revenue that they were hoping or projecting that it would, especially with COVID happening. But I wonder, I think a lot of brands that were like tethering on the edge, COVID was just the thing that pushed them over. Again, this is me speculating. This whole video is me speculating. Except the things that I'm reading from this article all of this is me speculating in regards to the information that I got from the article. Love to hear your thoughts down below. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, because I will see you again tomorrow in my new makeup releases. Bye!